Sir,
Yeah, please start. Please get started.
so my name is Yashasvi Mindekar. I'm working for IT company, Takes Technology. It's been 3 years of experience, and I work as an automation tester. There we use uh, Test Cafe for automating the test cases. But
Mhm.
right now, I want to learn a little more about automation testing.
Okay, fine. That's great. Hope you can view my screen.
Yeah, it's visible.
So just we'll be going through a basic walkthrough, like since you have already worked in test automation. So why do you feel test automation is very much important? Why, in your opinion, what is the purpose of test automation? Why companies are investing so much in test automation?
So it's a one-time investment. If you automate the things, we can use it whenever we want. If we want, instead of doing it manually 10 times,
Mm-hmm.
we can automate the test case, and then we can execute at our own convenience at any time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why
Okay.
automation always has the upper hand compared to manual.
Saves time, saves efforts. I guess this
Yeah.
diagram is more than self-sufficient to explain you what is the situation of a manual tester versus an automation tester, right?
Yes.
As you told, the manual tester has to repeat the same activities for 10 times. Whereas once
Mm.
you write a script properly for once, then he can run the same script again and again in multiple machines, multiple devices, multiple environments, right?
Right.
So what are the pros of automation testing? First thing is reliability, because they perform the same operation every time, avoiding any human errors. Like if we ask us to perform the same operation for 1,000 times, we cannot do it. Whereas if we ask the script to perform the same operation for 1,000 times, it will execute the same without any errors. So also repeatability. Repeatability means what? Suppose my management asked me to run the same test case for 1,000 times. Why they ask us to run the same test case for 1,000 times? To check how the code is working, whether it's working properly or not, whether it is whether the application behavior is the same or not. Because you execute the same test case for 200 times. Again, after 201 times, if the application behavior changes, then it's a problem, right? Right or not? SSV.
Yes, sir.
So that is the reason we use automation testing in order to check how the application is behaving under repeated conditions. Like if you under too much stress, too much load.
Mm.
Comprehensiveness means what? It gives us the ability to cover multiple test cases in multiple modules. Like it helps us cover every feature of your application by building those set of test cases. Then it comes
Mm.
better quality software. As you told, we can run more test cases in less time with reduced team size. So when I say more test cases in less time with reduced team size, these are the things that attract any companies, because always most of the companies, what they want to do more work with less team members and lesser time, right? Yes or not, Sashi?
Yes, right.
So that is why as automation engineers, we are paid some good handsome amounts in the market, because we have this ability to do more work in less time with reduced team size.
Mm.
And also reusability. So as you told Yashasvi, we can write the script once and we can execute in different versions of the application. We can execute in different environments, client locations, or wherever you want.
Right.
Programmability means what? When you start writing the test cases, I don't know how test case behaves for you, but when you start writing the test cases using Selenium with Java, we can also bring
Mm.
out some hidden issues. Like, for suppose, while logging into the application, you see the animation of the page, right? We don't observe that animation of the page. Like, what we do, we'll wait till the page gets loaded and stuff, right? Yes or no?
Mm. Yeah.
But what happens when automation testing? Automation testing doesn't have this ability to wait for its own sweet time for the page to load, right?
Mm.
Actually, the ideal threshold time is 3 seconds, but it is taking 7-8 seconds for the page to load. Then that is also issue. It is not visible to the naked eye, but for automation tester, these kind of issues are also being caught out. How can you catch those kind of issues with the help of robust programming, sophisticated programming, you can find out all these kind of issues. Got it?
Yeah, understood.
So with this issue, what we found in our company was there was some networking protocol issues. Like actually it should go from point A to point B. In order to reach to point B, it was taking the help of point C and point D. So again, a waste of time, right? So that is the
Mm,
reason we found that there was a networking protocol issue. So these are some real-time issues that we found out with the help of automation testing, and we asked the dev team to fix it, and they have fixed it. From there on, the application started working brilliantly. So these are the kind of issues we can bring it out with the help of automation testing. Then fast. As you know, automation test cases run significantly faster than the manual process. That means the execution of the test scripts will finish in a blink of an eye. Am I correct or not?
yeah, correct.
So as we have discussed this point, when we can run more test cases in less time with reduced team size, obviously the cost will be reduced, right? Instead of
Mm,
spending 8 lakhs per annum for 10 people, he can spend 20 lakhs per annum for 2 people, right? That way he can save 40 lakhs. Yes or no?
yes,
So that is the whole game about it. Cost reduction, more test case in less time with reduced team size. These are the major attributes for any company, because the hiring in most of the companies is done by a project manager. Though HR is driving the force, ultimately the project manager will have to approve the budget for your salary, because based on the project only, he can dedicate how much salary should be given for this employee, that employer, right? If these things are there, then definitely he can show some savings in the project. Correct or not?
correct.
So that is why automation testing has gained so much importance in the recent times, and it will be of a greater importance down the line also. Okay.
Yeah,
So also, whenever you have an automation script ready in place, it executes the code with greater precision and lower errors. What do you mean by greater precision, SSL?
sorry, your voice got
Yeah, what do you mean by greater precision of execution?
greater precision.
Yeah.
It will be accurate, means whatever we automate, it will perform the same steps over and over again with the
Mm.
same data,
Mm-hmm.
which I guess manually it won't be possible, because there will be a slight
Mm.
chance of making the changes while doing manual testing.
Okay. Also, there's a concept called as resource optimization. That means what? In your experience, you have seen that we are getting regular bills like once a week or a daily bill, right? When you receive a daily bill or a weekly bill, it's very difficult for manual team to sit in front of the system and do smoke testing all the time, right? So that is the
Yeah,
reason
right.
automation testing has gained so much importance. Like once the scripts are ready, whenever there's a daily deployment, then the DevOps team can trigger those automation scripts and they can see the results like pass fail by themselves.
Mm, right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that is the reason why automation testing has gained this kind of importance. So wider test coverage. Suppose out of the set of 1,000 test cases, if 700 test cases are automated properly along with all set of validations, then the manual team can cover 300 test cases. Also, they can expand the range of testing, because due to time issues, due to the deadlines of the project, we might have forgot to cover some other areas of testing, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
So in such situations, what will happen? We have to face more issues from the customer or during the UAT phase, right? So if more
Mm,
number of test cases are automated with proper set of validations, then manual testing team can expand the range of testing scope. They can also identify more test cases, more issues, more bugs. With the help of defects, also we can start writing the new test cases, right?
yeah.
So that is called wider test coverage. So speed means what? As I've told you, the software testing becomes more faster when you have automation scripts are ready, and it drastically reduces the testing time also. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Effective test management. Like for a project A, we have written the test cases properly and we have automated them. Now we got a project B, which is on the same lines of project A. Yeah. Like with the minimalistic changes, we got a project B. So you need not prepare the scripts from the scratch, and you need to do for project B, right? Yes or no? Yes
We
or
can use the
we
input
can use the same
with
scripts here with minimalistic changes like changing the config values, properties, and stuff. And if there's any change in functionality, we can focus on the changes. You need not work
mm,
everything from the scratch. That is also a greater time save, right?
right, sir.
So by looking at this diagram, what can you infer, Yashasvi?
It shows how much efforts it hours it's noted down, how many efforts are taken with automation testing and with manual testing.
Okay, how many efforts are taken with manual and automation testing?
Yeah.
So with this diagram, what can you infer? Like having only automation team is sufficient for the project, or having a combination of both manual team and automation team is important for the project?
I think both the teams are required.
Okay, both the teams are required. So my question is, when automation is doing these much work, why do you feel that we need manual testing people in place? Like it's just a question. Like, even if you don't know, it's fine.
Um, if a automation tester know better functionality about the project, then it's fine. But if automation tester lacks with the functionality or greater depth of the project, then I guess there's a need of manual tester.
Okay, okay, sure. So also not only this area, Yashasvi, another thing is there are some test cases which cannot be done through automation testing, as you know, right? So for execution of those test cases, also manual team is required. And always we need to remember that the functionality of the application should be received from the manual team only.
Hmm.
If
Okay.
functionality should be always received from the manual team,
Hmm.
not from any automation team or not from us.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's the thing. Okay,
So, but when you say that there are some things which we can't cover through automation testings,
yeah.
there are limitations. So, what kind of
Uh, like uh, like captcha. You are not supposed to automate any captchas because the whole purpose of captcha is then to ensure that no human being, I mean, no bot should detect what is written there. Only human should
uh,
identify what is what, right? Like identifying the
yes.
figures, whatever is written in the captcha, we have to write. So that part cannot be
Mm,
automated.
mm, okay.
And one more thing is image processing kind of things. Like we have to process the image, we have to see the comparison between the images. We cannot automate audio and video testing stuff because audio is something when you listen only you'll understand, right? Video is something which
Mm,
you see only you can understand. You cannot ask a bot to do all these kinds of testing, right?
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also like I mean image processing stuff, capture stuff, and there are some areas like uh, you have to resume the test cases. Like, so there are some situations like you have done all the testing from the UI and the job runs only once a day. So script cannot wait for that whole day to pick the job, right? Yes or no?
Yeah.
You have to resume your test cases. Like, if you partially stop your test cases, you have to resume your test cases. These kind of things cannot be done. But now But now with the help of some utilities, we can resume the test cases also. That is not a problem. But ideally, this resuming of test cases is also very big challenge. Like in the middle, something fails. Not something fails. Like you have a backend job related testing, and it works only once a day. It runs only once a day or once a month. You can't wait, right? When it runs only, you have to validate what are the details, how are the amounts being reflected. Yes or no? And also we cannot do biometric validations also. Biometric validations like fingerprint and all. Yeah.
Biometric means
Fingerprints, retina
fingerprints.
scanner.
Okay. 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 Those kind.
So before we jump into automation testing, these are the 5 things we all should remember. First thing is don't automate a mess. Since you know automation or since you're new to automation or since you feel like you know coding, don't prepare the scripts which are a mess. Whatever scripts you prepare, it should be followed in an ordered process. It should follow some standards. It should follow some process. Avoid complex logic in your scripts. What do you mean by avoid complex logic in your scripts? Write the necessary logic which is essential for the test case. Don't overdo or don't try to show off by writing more complex scripts. Whatever the logic is needed for the test case and whatever is essential for the test case, you have to write that only. And as just now we discussed, 100% automation is not possible, Yashasvi. Yeah. Whenever in an interview they say 100% automation should be done, you can confidently say that 100% automation is not at all possible. Maximum up to 80% only a software product can be automated. Clear?
Yeah. Cleared.
Hmm. Beware of automation testers who don't understand testing. First of all, when you want to be an automation tester, you need to have you need to know the nuances of the testing concepts, like what is regression, what is smoke, what is sanity, what is waterfall model, what is agile testing, all the stuff, right? If people
Mm.
don't understand the basic concepts of testing, how can they do automation testing? Yeah, these are some basic processes, and they need to know at least what is test case or what is test scenario, right?
Mm.
So you should also remember this thing that test automation is also a software development process. Like in most of the companies, development team means they'll give you so much time to build and all because we need to build it properly. For automation team, you're not given that much of time because lack of planning or lack of management or whatsoever it is. But you can confidently just say that it's a software development process. The only difference between the normal development people and us is they have a separate testing team to validate the application and all. We don't have a separate team to validate our scripts. We have to prepare, we have to validate. We have to think ourselves as a tester, we have to think ourselves as a developer. So we have to play a dual role simultaneously. Act like a developer while you're preparing the scripts and act like a tester when you're validating the scripts. Got it?
Right. Yeah.
So since you all should understand that it's a software development process. Initially, it might take some time to build up, but once it is built up, you will see the wonders. You will see the coverage. You'll see a lot of things. Got it, Yashasvi?
Yeah. Got it.
Any doubts so far in the slides that we have covered?
No. Understood.
So since we were discussing about the cost spent on automation or versus cost spent on manual testing, now you have the graphs. Like this is on an average, the cost spent on manual testing versus automation testing. What do you believe? This is the reality that is happening in most of the companies, which no, which most of people don't admit it. But what can you understand from here?
So I'm not able to understand anything.
Okay. So initially, the cost spent on manual testing is very less. Like you see the index here, this dark orange color is manual testing, this white light color is the automation testing. Got it?
Yeah.
Initially, the cost spent on manual testing is less. And
Mm.
they feel like automation testing, we are spending more cost. Cost means not only money, it's about the time also.
Okay.
Got it?
Mm. Yes.
Now, these things like first, they feel like you are spending very less amount of money or less amount of time. For the first 3, 4 bills only, they will visualize like, okay, I'm spending less cost on manual testing and I'm spending more on automation testing. Why do I need to spend? That is a thing we all genuinely get it right. Yes or no?
Mm. Yeah.
But as soon as we go through different builds, like for a software project, you have multiple builds, right? Multiple sprints, right? Like for the first sprint, second sprint, third sprint, fourth sprint, we will like manual testing is taking less efforts than automation testing to execute the test cases. But once your number of sprints gets increased, and once your product is about to go live, then the time spent, money spent, everything is more, because money spent is what number of hours that an employee spends on the project is a money calculation, right, for them. Or sometimes, since this team is lacking this knowledge, then we try to acquire the persons from other projects into this project, right?
Mm.
So that is also increase in cost. So gradually you see there will be a tremendous increase in cost for manual testing. Whereas if you see automation testing, on an average, it remains the same. That means the cost spent at the initial stages of the software development is same when the software is going live. Near or most of them it is same, like very
Oh,
less increase in
right.
cost or less increase in hours or money spent on the thing,
Mm-hmm.
because the cost remains the same.
Mm. Right.
So I mean, though for the people who say that automation testing is a time-consuming process and it's not of great use, you can proudly showcase this graph that on an average for a testing process, when you do manual testing, the time increases. When you go for a project for a full-scale manual testing, the time increases, the money increases, the efforts increases. Whereas automation testing initially might feel we are taking a lot of time, but once the project goes live, I mean, you can see the efforts, the time, money, the time we spent remains the same. Got it?
Got it.
Any doubts?
No, not yet.
Great. Now, I hope you understood this point of why you understood this point, right? In most of the companies, they say automation is taking a lot of time. It's not suitable for a project. They say these kind of words, right?
Mm. I heard this for manual tester
Yeah.
project for my company.
Sorry?
For my project, I have heard this for manual testers.
Yeah, yeah.
If you,
Okay. Any doubts so far?
no.
Okay. So what are the different automation tools that you know?
Selenium, Cypress,
1 minute, 1 moment. Let us note down.
uh,
Selenium, Cypress, and
Playwright, Test Cafe.
okay, okay, and
Mm, I know this much only.
okay.
People completely forgot about the QTP.
Yeah, yeah. QTP is also there. LoadRunner QTP comes under one brand only. Yeah. RPA, automation anywhere. Yeah. These are the kind of tools that we have.
Mhm.
VSTS.
Now, if you say QTP, RPA, automation anywhere, these are all paid tools. On an average, only MNCs can afford to have these kind of paid tools. Any paid tool, like when you see any middle scale company or a startup company, they can't afford these tools like automation anywhere, RTP, RPIU, QTP, EFT, because these are costly tools to afford. Even Tosca is there. This is also a paid tool. Okay. And these four tools are freeware, as you know. Even test cafe is freeware, right?
Yeah, it's free.
Hmm.
For Test Cafe, there's a Test Cafe Studio as well, which is a paid version.
Yeah. So so you can consider like a free and a paid. Like if you want to access more features, then you have to use the paid tool, right?
Yes, right.
So I don't know what would be the cost per it, but at least it would be around 50 to 70,000 for a paid tool.
Um, we
Hmm?
use the free version, so
Hmm?
not aware of it. We
Yeah.
use the free version, so
Okay, okay. Okay, great. So if for pro feature, you have to use a paid version. Now, let us see what is Cypress do. Supports only JavaScript language. Yeah. Works in Windows primarily. Need to use Visual Studio. I mean, suppose only JavaScript and TypeScript.
So when you say works in Windows, so doesn't it support any other operating system?
Linux and Mac, we don't see people using Cypress, and it doesn't support because we need to have Visual Studio.
Okay.
The same thing with Playwright also, because both come from Microsoft family. Again, like Cypress doesn't come from Microsoft family, but there's a subsidiary of Microsoft family, but Playwright comes from Microsoft family. About two tools with TypeScript is a greater option. Works in Chrome browser. Okay.
It works only in Chrome browser.
Yeah, Firefox it doesn't support.
Okay.
Okay. And when it comes to Test Cafe, it uses only JavaScript, you know, right?
Yeah, JavaScript.
Supports only JavaScript. Again, it works in Windows, right? Only Windows operating system.
Yeah.
Hmm?
Yeah.
We need JavaScript, and it says different selector strategy. Like, no, it's not like Selenium. The test cafe selection strategy is very different. It's not like XPath CSS selector, right?
Yeah. No XPath.
Independent proxy servers. Yeah. Got it?
Yeah.
It says it provides major support for all browsers. But actually, I don't feel it provides. But it provides support for Chrome predominantly.
Actually, it does provide support for the all browser, but when we executed our test case with Firefox browser, we saw there's a delay. It takes a lot of
Yeah.
time to.
So that is the thing I'm trying to say. Provides support for Chrome predominantly. Like it says it provides major support for all the browsers, but it provides support for Chrome predominantly.
Yeah, right.
Predominantly. I'm not saying it's not providing support for Firefox, but yeah, as I said, it provides support for Firefox, but I don't consider that thing because it doesn't provide support for Firefox or Safari and all this stuff, right? Because some people use Mac, some people use Linux, right?
Yeah.
Even though the installation part, they say it's easy, but at the end of the day, it's a tool installation, right? Test cafe is more of a tool installation. And I'll tell you the reason why it is working very slow on a general, because I'll tell you, because it is injecting JavaScript into the browser. When more of JavaScript is injected, then the execution speed is reduced. Okay?
Okay.
Is reduced by 30%. Got it? Now,
Got it.
whenever you see even in the Chrome also, observe now, the execution is bit slower compared to the normal process. Got it?
But the same injection of JS into browser, it would be also happening for Chrome browser as well, right?
Yeah, same thing for Chrome browser, same thing for this Firefox also. But the thing is, even if you observe in the Chrome browser, the execution speed gets slowed down. Maybe you're missing it in overlook, but you generally see the execution is pretty less. Even though if you don't use any waits or sleeps, the execution speed is very slower. Because this test cafe concept, in the previous versions of Selenium we had, there was a tool called as Selenium RC. Same concept of test cafe.
Okay.
Back in 2006 to 2010, there was also a similar tool called as Selenium RC, which almost has the same characteristics of test cafe. Got it?
Okay. Yeah.
So 2006 to 2010, even Selenium was going through this process of having this works in Windows, supports only JS, independent servers, independent proxy servers, which has its own mechanism of mediation, own selector mechanism. And it was also having the Selenium core. What do you mean by the Selenium core? Injecting JavaScript into the browser. I mean,
Okay.
the more amount of JavaScript to insert into the browser, it creates a huge load onto the browser. It's just like if I pressurize you with more and more tasks, obviously you'll be going under the pressure, right? You'll be
Hmm.
going under some mental trauma also sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah.
The same thing with Test Cafe. I guess now we understand why it is working very slow.
Yeah. Understood.
Yeah. So that is about Test Cafe. And if you want to explore the full range of Test Cafe, then you have to have a paid version. Because for free version, we always have a limitation, right?
Yeah.
If you want to really use the full range of the tool, then you have to, if we want to explore the full capacity of the tool, we need to go for pro version. Okay.
Hmm.
Hi Kalyan, how are you?
Yeah, hi sir, good morning.
Yeah. So can you just please introduce yourself so that we can
Yeah,
continue?
myself Kalyan.
Hmm.
I'm working as a manual test engineer. So now I want to move to Selenium testing. So that's why I have
Okay. For how long you're in manual testing?
3 plus
Okay.
3.2.
Good. That's great.
Sir, actually Selenium is the better option, or else the performance testing is the best one.
I mean, if you ask me, having the knowledge of both the things is always good, because if you know performance testing, they might use it for performance testing also. But automation testing is very much important during the software testing lifecycle, because till the project is gone live, the automation testing is very much essential. Before going live for the project, then we need to do performance testing, because that time we need to check how the application is behaving when different users are accessing the application, different users are accessing the APIs, how it is working and all. That is when performance testing is essential. So both are actually needed, but
Okay.
during the longer run, automation testing is needed. But if you want from a career perspective, if you are comfortable in both, that is more than sufficient.
Yeah. Nowadays the recruiters are asking mostly like a full stack tester, API testing, API
Yeah.
automation.
Like full stack tester, the word is just being used, but I expect like in a year or a year and a half, like full stack developer will have full stack tester.
Yeah.
People are just trying to say for the sake of interview, but frankly speaking, it will take another 18 months to see the word full stack tester. By the time we all need to be ready with it. Okay.
Okay. Sir, do you cover API testing as well in this
Yes.
course?
I'm yet to discuss the course plan, but we are just discussing the what do you call
Okay.
it?
API in the sense API manual testing or API is automation testing also?
API automation testing and manual testing also, like a bit I'll show you, like in Postman, you
Okay.
show Postman tool, right? We can use different APIs and we can see the response codes and all. That I can show you for a couple of APIs. By using those APIs, how do we automate it? I'll show you.
Sure, sir. Thank you, sir. How long course would be?
I have not yet discussed those points, Kalyan. We are just
Okay, sir. Thank you.
okay.
Yeah, and one more thing. So, if you are good in coding, yes, Rahul, can you explain that from that perspective? Because many people will be having this question. Many manual testing engineers will be having
Okay,
this
okay,
worry,
okay,
right?
fine.
So, if you require code, like Selenium, I think Selenium with Java requires very good coding skills, right?
I would like to recorrect that. Even, I mean, the Java that we cover is just the 20% of what developers know.
Right.
That's it. You just need to know the basic minimum requirements to survive in test automation. We don't need to know the full-length exclusive coding. We just need to
Okay.
know some basics. Basic points are there. If you just remember that, that is more than enough for automation testing. You don't need like full-length exclusive coding. If you are going for an SDET profile, that time you need to have a full-length coding knowledge. If you are going for test automation like profile, then the Java, the 20% Java what we want to learn, that is more than enough.
Okay. Understood. Yeah, makes sense.
So when it
So
comes,
whereas, performance, we don't require, that 20%
yeah,
also.
yeah,
Right?
yeah,
So
we
we
can,
don't need like, basic programming structures like if loop, for loop. Those would be enough for performance career.
yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Yeah, please go ahead.
yeah. Supports multiple browsers like Chrome, Firefox, Edge, Safari, etc. Supports multiple operating systems like Windows, Linux, Mac. In short, we can say it is platform independent. Okay. Supports multiple like Java, Python, Ruby, Perl, C hash, JS, etc. Okay. Flexible to use. Supports cross-browser testing. Supports parallel testing. Lightweight hardware. Got it, everyone?
Yes.
Got it, Yashasvi and Kalyan?
I didn't get the fifth point. Cross browser
Cross-browser
testing.
testing means the same test you have to execute in Chrome, the Edge, Safari,
Okay.
Firefox. Okay. We can program our test cases in such a way that same test case we can run in 4 browsers. Okay.
At the same time or
Like one
individually?
test case after the other. Automatically it will pick by itself and it can execute in different browsers or different platforms. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Like the advantage of Selenium is the same test case will run the same way in different browsers, provided application is behaving properly. Like if you want me to search for a data in flipkart.com, I can do the same search case in all these browsers effectively, provided the browser is, I mean, the application is designed properly. Got it?
Yes.
So these are the pros of using Selenium. So as every tool has its pros and cons, we'll also see the cons of it. Does not have an inbuilt reporting framework. Does not have an inbuilt integration with the test. Okay. Does not perform image processing testing. Does not support biometric testing. Does not support video and audio testing. Okay, got it?
Okay.
Need to use third party. Okay,
Okay.
clear?
Yeah, clear.
Any doubts so far?
Not from my side.
How about you, Kalyan?
No, sir. Clear.
Okay, that's great. So if you want to do automation testing, these are the tools that we need to require, okay, that we need to install in your systems, just in case. Like, these are the tools that we'll be working on throughout our course. Got it? Got it, Yashasvi and Kalyan?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's true. Yes.
Yeah, and just a moment.
Rahul, please, you can pause the recording.
Yeah. Just a moment, I'll just pause the recording. Just a moment. So, coming to the course contents, what are the topics we are covering? The first topic that we have covered is basics of testing and purpose of Selenium that we have covered. Why Selenium is being used, pros and cons of it compared to other tools. We have discussed this point also. What is the importance of test automation tool along with different facts of testing, case studies and facts. We have discussed these 3 points. Then we need to discuss like what is SDLC lifecycle with respect to test automation, like how the normal SDLC lifecycle is, and when it comes to test automation, what could be the changes in the behavior. Then what are the different tools that we need to install? As I've shown you, what are the different tools we need to install? Yeah. Yes or no?
Yes.
So we'll be going through different concepts of Git, like how do you push the code, how do you pull the code, how do you make the changes, how do we push a fresh project to the GitHub using the command prompt and using the IntelliJ tool. IntelliJ is another tool like Eclipse. Like most of you have heard the Eclipse tool, right?
Yeah.
Similar to
Okay.
Eclipse, there is another coding tool called as IntelliJ, which is majorly used in the current market.
So Eclipse and IntelliJ are IDEs, right? Integrated.
Yeah, they are all IDEs, but when it comes to the IDE usage in the current trend, IntelliJ is predominantly used here
Okay,
in the current times.
got
Then
it.
we go through the Java basics, like how do we create a new class? What are the different conditional looping statements? Static versus non-static method. How do we initialize the objects? What is strings? What is exception handling? What is arrays? What are the different data types? And how do we use all this Java's basics with the Selenium concepts? Like whatever Java concepts we are learning, we have to learn them how to use it in our Selenium scripting. Then what are the collections? What is the importance of strings and collections from automation perspective? How we can use a third-party library called string utils to enhance our string concepts? What are the different collection concepts? We can also discuss some programming questions on the above basics that you have learned. Yeah.
Okay.
Then we can also see what is exception handling. How can we use try catch block, finally block? How do you use multiple catch blocks with one try block? Then for fine handling, file handling, what are the different ways of file writing? How do we write the data to the file, read the data from the file? How do we copy the file from one location to another location? How do we collect all the lines of the file in one single shot? What are the different concepts or different functions with respect to file? And what is inheritance? Okay. What is inheritance? What is subclass?
Java concept is.
Yeah.
So we will be running Selenium with the Java language.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
this code.
Yeah.
What's this 10th point?
Yeah. 10th point, like before that, OOPS concept, like by learning all the above concepts, what are the different OOPS concepts we are covering? Polymorphism, encapsulation, inheritance, and abstraction. So we'll be going through all these OOPS concepts with the help of the above 9 topics that we were discussing. Got it?
Okay.
Then we go for Java Lambda expressions. In Java, these days they are asking some small questions on Lambda and generic expressions. So we'll be covering the small topic on Lambda and generic expressions just to for your interview sake. Okay.
Okay.
Very few companies have used this Java Lambda and streams or something like that in their real-time project. But in the interview questions, they are keeping on asking you. So that is why I decided like let me cover some topics related to that.
Okay.
Okay. Then how do we set up a basic Selenium project? How do we set up a Maven project? How do you add libraries? How do we set up a WebDriver? How do you launch the application? Okay.
Okay.
So we can also discuss some basics of HTML, like if some people are not knowing what is this input tag, button, all the stuff, we can just discuss a class on the basis of HTML. What is the input body HTML? Okay.
Okay.
Kalyan, clear? Kalyan, are you there?
I guess it dropped.
No,
Okay.
he got disconnected. Kalyan got disconnected.
Okay, I didn't see. So then we'll see what is basics of Selenium. So we'll under Selenium family, we will be seeing what is IDE, what is Selenium RC, what are the different types of locators for searching the elements. How do we find the elements based on different types of XPaths? How do we handle these tables, grids? What are the different wait times? What are the different attributes that are present for this particular web elements? How do we handle the pop-ups, actions class? How do we handle multiple windows and tabs? How do we capture screenshots?
Okay.
How do we upload and download the file? How do we handle frames and shadow frames, Chrome options and desired capabilities? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
So when it comes to Selenium concepts, we have TestNG and Cucumber. These are the two predominant frameworks they'll ask you. What is TestNG? What are the different annotations of TestNG? How do you execute the test cases? What is grouping? What is assert? What is dependency? What is the purpose of WebDriver event listener, iTest listener? How do we use listeners as part of scripting? Yeah.
Okay.
So we will be seeing Cucumber framework. What is Cucumber framework? What is runner file? How do we run the cases from the runner file? What is scenario outline? What is pickle test step concept? And how do we combine TestNG and Cucumber? Got it?
Understood.
Then we see properties file, Excel operations. Like why do we need to use Excel to store our test data, to write our test data, to write some execution data, stuff like this test case has run and this is passed, all the stuff. Properties file
Okay.
means that is a place where we maintain all the configurable values like your application URL,
URL
username,
credential.
password, DB credentials, and all the stuff.
Yeah. Understood.
Then we'll see JSON and XML operations. Why do we need to know JSON and XML operations? When we want to do API testing, you need to know how do we write the data to the JSON file? How do we read the data from the JSON file? How do we modify the contents? And when it comes to report generation, yes, we will be going to see what is extend report generation. Yeah. There are
So we will
multiple
be
ways.
needing third party for this, no?
Sorry?
Generating extended report, we will need a third party tool.
No need of third party tool, anything. Third party libraries. Maybe whatever.
Perfect.
Wait,
Okay, third party libraries.
third party. Okay, my bad. I'll write libraries. That will be a better option.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
Third party
understood.
libraries for report generation. Amongst that, extend report is one. How do we generate Cucumber report? I mean, how do we generate extend reports using this test engine Cucumber? Multiple ways of generating the extend reports. Then we cover REST API testing. What is API automation testing? How do we add the REST libraries? What is post, get, delete request?
Okay.
Then we'll be covering some basics of database like in SQL concepts and all. Then we'll be covering the CI/CD pipeline, like how do we integrate with Jenkins and Maven build. Then we
For automation, why do we need this SQL?
Yeah, why do we need this SQL? In the companies, most of the time, they expect testers also to have database knowledge. And when you have database knowledge, there will be a scenario like you have to check whether the amount that is being reflected in the application is matching with the database or not.
Okay, so that verification also needs to be done from our end.
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
And some companies, when they are using Angular 17, they are using MongoDB as their database also. Why they are using MongoDB as a database? Easy migration.
Okay.
So we are covering some basics of MongoDB also.
Okay. Understood.
So we'll be seeing like by learning all the above concepts, you will see how do I build a framework from scratch? What are the different frameworks that we have? How do we use IntelliJ tool? How do we use Excel with real time? Because whenever you build a framework, the most common questions they ask is how do you use Excel? How do you generate reports? How do you use GitHub on a daily purpose? What is your framework structure? These are the things that we do. And if time permits, we can also see Allure reports. We can see a round of parallel testing, JUnit testing, and Karate framework if we have time. Like if we have time and most of if people are interested by that time, then we can also discuss these points. Okay.
Parallel testing.
Parallel testing means suppose when you have 10 test cases, generally what you do, run one test case after the other, right?
Yeah.
In parallel testing, what happens means when there are 10 test cases, for example, I can run 5 test cases at a time. Once those 5 are completed, then it will pick the remaining 5.
Okay, understood.
Okay. Clear?
Yeah, clear.
Yeah. Just a moment. So these are the topics that we are covering, which are essential for your current interviews style. And if we feel any more new features are there from any of the like from Java or from Selenium or from any tool, we'll also be covering those tools or for those concepts which are essential for your interview or for a job. Okay.
Yes.
Any doubts?
No, understood.
Great.
One minute. Just a minute, I will back in it.
Yeah. So this is what Pawan about the course plan and the introduction to automation.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Rahul. So are we winding up now?
Yeah. I'm done from my side. If Yashasvi has anything, then we can.
Yeah, Sham, do you have any inputs or any queries?
No, I think it's a great session. I think Rahul is covering extensively around all the things, and he's also covering a lot of interview wise also. So The only question that I have, Rahul, is how would you be able to support in the resume preparation in the group?
So when it comes to resume preparation, the candidate should have this roles and responsibilities. When it comes to roles and responsibilities, for that project, we can be giving them what are the different roles they are performed while automation testing. Because in automation testing, they see two different kind of people. One at execution and maintenance, other one is scripting. And if you want to have if you want to have a better pay, if you want to be in a higher role, then they will seek for people who are good at framework design. So based on the candidate skills, we can say like the candidate has performed themselves in their execution and maintenance. Like I've run the test cases in multiple environments and I've fixed the issues in different places. We can write those, or else we can write like they have developed the test script cases for the so and so modules, which helped in saving the time and efforts for that particular module, or have built a framework. In these three aspects, we can help them build a resume preparation based on their comfort levels.
Great. Thanks, Rahul. Thanks for answering that.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. So can I conclude the session, Rahul?
Yeah, I can conclude. I'm just waiting if SSV has anything. If she doesn't have, then we can conclude it.
So I just have one question. If someone wants to learn automation testing, and it's for me, like I'm not that much 100% sure with my automation skills.
Okay.
So if I want to improve it, so which language I should focus on?
So when it comes to which language, when you're using Selenium, Java is one of the most compatible tools, I would like to say, because when you work with Python or C# also, Python is not that comfortable because you need to install the libraries manually by yourself. If you are
Okay.
working in your system, you need to install the libraries by yourself. If if you want to do the same thing in Pawan system, then I have to use the pip install command, same thing. That is a wrong
Mm.
approach. When you come to C#, yes, it has its own mechanism of installing the libraries, but still, I feel like there are not much exclusive options for automation testing when it
How
compares
much
to.
is billions?
Sorry.
Hey, I'm sorry. Something from my side. I'm going on mute.
Okay. So when you use Java, the range of libraries is wide and exclusive, and it is very easy to use because Java is
Okay.
lightweight, easy to use, easy to understand.
Okay. Between Java and JavaScript, which one is more easy?
Java is more better because it follows object-oriented concepts. JavaScript doesn't follow much of object-oriented concepts. It is more subjective. You need to write lot number of lines. But I prefer you to use Java. But I prefer to use Java only.
Okay.
Always
Thanks,
choose a
Rahul.
program which follows some object-oriented programming concepts. That will be much better for your program learning.
Okay.
There is some background noise from your side.
My
Yeah.
side, no, it's from SSV.
SSV only, I'm saying. Yeah. So you can, if you want to speak, whenever you want to speak, you can use press and hold the space bar and you can speak out to temporarily mute or unmute yourself.
Oh, okay. Wasn't aware. Is it still the background noise?
No.
We
Now it's
don't have
fine.
it now. We are getting some buzzer sound or calling bell sound.
Oh, okay.
So SSV, whatever the course that we have now, it's very much well designed for the beginners also. Like people like you can learn the Java from scratch and they can practice by themselves. That is not a big deal. Got it, guys? Got it, SSV?
So how difficult is it to learn Java, Rahul?
The Java that we are covering is most likely on an engineering level. Like the Java concepts, 80% of them are the concepts that we are covered at engineering level. And 20% of them, the concepts that I cover is more like a industry level. If you understand this 80% concept, then the 20% that I teach you will be an additional bonus for you, which most of the people don't know. That way I can say. Like the engineering Java only we are discussing. Like whatever topics we have in engineering Java, we are brushing up them and we are giving some add-ons to it.
So do we need to have prior Java knowledge?
No.
Yeah.
No need.
So we can completely learn right from the beginning in this course, right?
Yes.
There's absolutely no prior knowledge that is needed.
Yeah, no prior knowledge. Since you're coming for test automation, some basic knowledge of testing is essential, like what is regression, what is smoke. These are all things we expect the candidate to know, right? Like if that is not known also, then we have to spend a class to explain what is regression, what is smoke, what is waterfall, what is agile. Some testing basics are required, right? What is the test case and the test scenario? Yeah.
So how much functional testing knowledge is mandatory, right, Rahul? For
Like
this?
it's not about, I mean, a bit of functional testing knowledge is mandatory because that person should know, like whenever he goes to the company, what they ask you is how strong are with your validations. Because if you are not a functional tester, you could not know how do you validate your test case, right? Like
Right. Yeah.
if this pop-up comes, then only you have to pass the test case, then you have to fail it. That sense of testing sense should be there. Then only you can learn.
Correct.
If the candidate is not having that kind of knowledge also, then we have to spend a class or two to explain those things, and then we have to jump to automation. Okay. I hope I'm clear with everyone. Any questions, any queries?
Yeah. Thanks, Rahul. Thanks for that. Thanks for the clarification.
Thank you.